Hey, welcome to Eat, Baila, Travel. We're Jenny and Kevin, and if you're new to the channel, we are two Mexican Americans who are traveling throughout Mexico in search of a new home. We've had the opportunity to travel through Yucatan, Quintana Roo, and Veracruz, and checking out different cities to see which one's gonna be the best fit for us, see which one we want to settle down in, though we are in no hurry to settle down. So we'll be traveling Mexico for the rest of the year in search of a new home. We want to make sure we make the right decision and take advantage of exploring our heritage country as much as possible before we really stick to just one place.
So make sure to join us on our journey and hit that subscribe button and the bell so you can follow along throughout our journey.
So after checking out some cities and states in the southern part of Mexico, we're heading to the north. First, to the popular city of San Miguel de Allende that happens to have a lot of expats living in the city, and we're really curious to find out what is it that brings so many expats here. So in our short visit to San Miguel de Allende, we're actually looking to answer 3 specific questions. Number 1, why are so many foreigners attracted to this small city in the mountains in Guanajuato? Number 2, how did San Miguel de Allende become such a magnetic destination for artists and expatriates looking for a new life, and a lot of them being Americans?
And number 3, lastly, would we actually live here? We have 3 days to try to figure this out, so let's go. We got a private room at La Catrina Hostel. For $25 a night, we got a very spacious room, and it's only 4 blocks away from the city center of San Miguel.
We're gonna be the first ones to put a Chicago pin on the map. I'm so excited I forget that I only slept 1 hour last night. This sounds so spacious. Our receptionist just mentioned that Guanajuato just opened up for tourism again this month, so it looks like we came at a good time. And it's rainy season, but I don't mind it. It feels really nice because it's not cold. One of the first things we noticed about San Miguel de Allende is how clean the streets are and how kind the people are. Another really special thing I noticed are the doors. I'm not sure what it is about these doors, but they're really impressive. The detail, the designs are beautiful. I tried to Google what is so special about these doors other than they're impressive, but I couldn't find anything. So let me know in the comments if you know anything about, there's a story behind these doors, because they're just too beautiful not to have a story or some sort of history behind them that I just haven't been able to find.
When you come to San Miguel de Allende, the best way to see the city is by walking. The cobblestone streets and colonial architecture make for some awesome pictures. We recommend going to Calle Aldama, located right behind the famous church. Here you'll be able to take some beautiful pictures during the day and at night. My first impressions of San Miguel de Allende is that I feel like I'm in a Disney environment. I don't know, there's the castle, almost like a church. The magic kingdom of Guanajuato. Look at that. Right? Gorgeous. Another first impression that I have so far of San Miguel de Allende is that they take pride into how calm their city is. The taxi driver was talking about how they don't use their horns to beep at people or to beep at other cars. They like to maintain it quiet. There's no street lights controlling traffic. It's just very calm. It's a very calm place to come relax. So if you're coming to a party, this is not the place for you.
This is a great place to come if you're looking for relaxation, and it's starting to make sense why so many people retire here. It's calm, it's safe, it's quiet, but not boring. Like, there are things going on, and it's a sleepy city. So if you're looking for a nice little getaway, this is great. If you're looking for adventure, maybe this isn't your place. But it's also a great opportunity to learn some really cool Mexican history. Phew. Oh, it's been a nice first day, but tomorrow's an exciting day because we're not only gonna continue exploring the city, But we're also going to visit a very special grave for someone that's really important to this city. And it's not San Miguel, it's not Ignacio Allende, it's someone else who's been super instrumental to this city. We are gonna go to bed right now, but we will meet you right back here tomorrow morning so we can continue our tour with San Miguel de Allende and find out what all the fuss is about. So, good night. See you in the morning. Good morning, y'all. So after a good night's sleep, we woke up early this morning to take a tour of the park and then head over to the cemetery like we were talking about last night. But as we're walking around, we decided we want to share our first impressions of San Miguel de Allende with you. One of the things that really stands out to us is the heavy presence of European architecture and Spanish influence, which of course makes sense because it was the first city to gain its independence from Spain. There was some sort of pride in preserving the architecture, so any updates to construction or buildings are designed to preserve its colonial aesthetic. And it's even noticeable in this park. As I'm walking around, it reminds me of the parks that I used to walk around in when I was studying abroad in Spain. So it's a really nice touch and special characteristic for it, for being a small city that's preserved its colonialism, which you do see a lot throughout Mexico. But it's got a really calm vibe here, coupled with the calmness of the city, with how safe it is and how people are out and about in the community. It feels like such a strong community feel for anyone looking for a place where you can fit right in with everybody else. As far as our first impressions in would we live here, I like the tranquility of this place. I love the parks. It's tough to say within 3 days if this is somewhere we want to live, but first impressions I think can go very far, and so far I'm pleased with our visit. I'm just not quite convinced yet about whether or not we'd live here. All right, let's start heading over to the cemetery. And while we go, I think it's a good time to start talking about why we're going. So we mentioned that there's a very special tomb that we want to visit, and it's not San Miguel and it's not Ignacio Allende, but it's a person that's really important to the development of this city. That person's name is Sterling Dickinson. Sterling Dickinson was a Chicago native who, upon graduating from Princeton, decided to travel throughout Mexico. And during his travels, he stopped in a sleepy town called San Miguel de Allende. Before Sterling's arrival, there wasn't much going on for San Miguel de Allende. It had suffered a lot and lost 3/4 of its population during the two wars, the Mexican independence and the Mexican Civil War. So it was a sleepy town that was really on an economic and social decline. But what Sterling did next is what helped put this place on the map. Sterling Dickinson loved to paint, and he opened up a Bellas Artes school. A veteran himself, he recruited other World War II veterans to use their GI benefits and enroll at Bellas Artes. So soon he started building a community of American World War II veterans and building a community of Americans in San Miguel de Allende. Today, 1 in 10 residents are Americans, and many others are foreigners from other countries, including Canada. He not only was able to offer a more comfortable life and a way to use their GI benefits for World War II veterans, he also started building San Miguel de Allende as an artist colony. And so soon it became popular internationally, and today is known as one of the most artsy cities in all of Latin America. He kickstarted this cultural renaissance, which then ultimately led to the further development of this city. Soon after, many expats started flocking to this city looking for a new way of life, opening up businesses, and bringing more art galleries and art schools to the area. Dickinson became a well-known and respected member of the community in San Miguel de Allende because he volunteered for nonprofits. He was a really well-known gringo in town, but really beloved by his neighbors. He was really just a person who was looking for a home and a new way of life, and at the age of 27, settled in San Miguel de Allende and changed its trajectory. And with all his contributions, he created a bridge between Mexicans and Americans who now cohabitate this city and make it what it is today. As someone who can relate to looking for a new way of life, looking for a new place to call home, I think it's super cool that he was able to create this bridge and develop the city. But more than anything, I think it's super cool that he was a Chicagoan. So it's been a real treat to get to know why this place is so special and what is it that attracts people here. It's not a place that people are necessarily flocking to, but lots of expats are living here, and it's amazing to learn about how that came to be.
One thing that I found very interesting coming to visit this cemetery is that how was I gonna find Mr. Sterling's grave? And I had to ask. I looked it up in Google, and I also asked the person at the front of the cemetery where I can find Mr. William. He said he didn't know much about it. So I Googled it, and in Google I found out that there's a section just for Americans at this cemetery. It's a little garden located within the cemetery grounds. And if you look at the tombstones here, they look very similar to tombstones that you find in the United States. Normally cemeteries in Mexico are very crowded. There's a lot of tombstones, and sometimes they tend to be very colorful, very extravagant tombstones in Mexico. The section for Americans looks just like the tombstones in America, where they're just tombstones laying on the ground. So I find that very interesting, and I wanted to share that with you all.
One of the things you just must do when you visit San Miguel de Allende is visit Jardín Allende. It's the main square, and it's the one right in front of the gorgeous church, Parroquia San Arcangel.
This is one of the most important corners in all of San Miguel de Allende. To my left, we have the casa where Ignacio Allende, one of the leaders of the Mexican and Spanish War, was born. To my right, we have Fray de San Miguel, one of the priests that used to help out the indigenous communities in this area of the oppression of the Spanish when they arrived. In 1826, Mexico decided to give homage to both of these great individuals and named the city San Miguel de Allende. They combined them both in order to give an homage to the entire city. Outside of the city center of San Miguel de Allende, you will find murals and street art all over the city. Here are some of the murals we really liked.
Last but absolutely not least, you cannot leave San Miguel de Allende without coming to eat at Chocolates y Churros San Agustin. You can get dinner and dessert here, and the churros are amazing, just out of this world. You can choose toppings like chocolate, cajeta, rompope, lechera. You can get it plain, but trust me, you want to get the one with the topping. So good. Dinner's good too, but what you really want to make room for are the churros. Perfect dessert. Cappuccino con rompope, eggplant. Churro con rompope, churro con cajeta. What are you having, Kim? Okay, I'll share, but I always get the first bite. I like how it has this shape where you can just push it into your mouth. It's perfect. It's so perfect. I'll show you the one. I love the kick of the rompope. It's so good. This reminds me of my childhood right here. Shout out to my sister. This was our thing. We would always ask our parents for churros. I love these things, man.
Damn, how many churros with rompope does it take to get drunk? I don't know.
Ready to party, huh?
Lit.
Oh no, they're almost gone. What's your favorite? Rompope?
Yup.
You want another one?
Yup.
No se diga más.
Our time here in San Miguel de Allende was short and sweet. Maybe it's not the right fit for us right now because we're still looking for a little bit more adventure, but maybe sometime in the future or when we're tired and tired of vlogging, maybe San Miguel will be a place for us. We hope you enjoyed our take on San Miguel de Allende. We're definitely gonna come back here sometime soon. So if you have any recommendations for us, please write them down in the comments so that we make sure that we hit those places when we come back the next time. If you haven't been to this beautiful place, we hope that you get the opportunity to come and visit someday. Bueno, se cuidan, se bañan y nos vemos hasta la próxima.
Chao.
Chao.